Hi, my name is Faith. Today we are back with another episode of the Choking Preventers. I'd like to give a special thank you to Miss Laura Stevens for joining us here today.
And I am Karis. Hi, and welcome viewers for joining us today. Miss Laura, can you please tell our viewers what is your career?
I'm a child psychologist and a board-certified behavior analyst.
Okay.
Would you agree the environment has a major role in health and safety?
Absolutely, and it's something that we as adults and parents can take responsibility of and really making sure that we keep the area safe for our children and our pets and even the elderly. We have to be careful about them as well. So something you might not even think about, let's say it's a cap on a small bottle, right? Something like this, you might not choke on that, but an animal or a child could, or someone who's getting up there in age, like grandparent possibly, might think that this is something to drink. And that could be potentially very hazardous for them. So we have to be very careful about that. Same thing about like little toys and things. If you've got a little friend around the house, like my little friend here, one of these little toys, a little Lego or something, could be potentially a choking hazard, not for you, a choking hazard for her, right? So we have to be very careful that we keep these things up and out of their way. A good way to kind of remember it is to think about like an empty toilet paper tube. So anything that's small enough to fit inside of this tube can be a potential choking hazard. So this car, even though it's pretty large, can fit through that tube, so we want to be very careful about that.
That's a good idea.
I thought so.
How would you adjust the environment to stop possible choking hazards?
Well, people do a great job of looking at those choking hazards when their kids are very tiny. But as they grow, we have to get on their level and we have to see the environment from their size. You know, a 3-year-old sees things very differently than a crawling toddler would. So you want to get down on their level and look around and see what they see, what could be potentially interesting to them, and what could they get themselves into trouble with.
Wow, Vera, so you hear that? Even a 3-year-old can choke on something. You have to get onto their level to understand.
So, environmental safety goes beyond manipulation of variables. Could you please tell us how you work with individuals and families to train them on environmental safety?
Absolutely. Parent training is a big part of my job. Not only do I get to work with the children themselves, but working with their families and the other caregivers, you know, babysitters, grandparents, older brothers and sisters. They like toys and things that older kids like, but that's not always a great idea for the little ones. So, you know, little toys like this or a pair of earrings even could be potentially very dangerous. Could you imagine stepping on the back of that? Ouch, it would really hurt, right? So we want to keep things like this up and out of the way of small children and animals. One of the things that we end up doing pretty frequently is what we call redirection. So let's say my little friend here was going for this Lego. I would say, oh, no, not for you, but you can have this. Right? And so that simple, oh, I'm going to take that, but you can have this, that shows them what it is okay to eat. So you could give them a bone or something along those lines if it's an animal, or if it's a toddler, switch that toy out that could cause them harm with something that'll be okay with them, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, viewers, for listening to us today, and thank you, Miss Laura, for answering our questions.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies.